press release.
Career, which is to kind of start the first, topic of today is I want to get into Terry McLaurin's situation, because there's some contracts out here, some contract situations, like it always is this time of year with training camp, specifically between Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons that we've just seen, and also Trey Hendrickson, for Cincinnati. Those are the big three, with some others. But I want to get into the Terry situation. First, I'll say, and then we'll kind of get to Micah Parsons after that. But who do you think is more likely to get paid, Terry or Micah? If you had to choose one of the two.
We had talked about this. I'd say Micah, just because he's cornerstone of the Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, he is the star, probably next after Dak Prescott, and so without a doubt. And Jerry Jones just put out a tweet saying like, "Hey fans, like," relax.
And that's how Jerry do business.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how Jerry do business. He's always done business,
100%.
I mean, I even remember my time, as I was approaching getting paid. I still was a year or two off, but I remember the whole Dez Bryant situation, where Dez got franchise tagged. It was a big deal, and they ended up getting the deal done, I think, right at the deadline. But, back to kind of the Terry McLaurin situation, I think he's in a very tough situation. I believe he turns, I'm going to look it up, I believe he turns 30 this season.
Why is that so significant? It's just because that's like,
it's
to the league that's old?
30 is any skill position. 30 is a certain milestone where teams are looking at that. Like once you hit the 3-0,
decline.
It's something of we're evaluating other things that we may not have been evaluating when you were 24, 25, 26, 27. So I believe Terry is turning 30 this year. So he's under contract for this year. I would have to look at, I'm not 100% sure if he's under contract next year as well. I'm going to assume so.
Okay.
So you have him under contract for 30 and 31. And if you need to, you can franchise tag him at 32. And if you wanted to, again, we just saw T. Higgins receive 2 franchise tags. You can franchise tag him again at 33. So for the Commanders, what are they going to do? Or why would they say, okay, cool, we just going to give you a new deal? Like when they have all that in their favor as far as leverage. And they just went out and got Deebo Samuels. And I'm not saying that Terry McLaurin is not deserving of a new deal.
Right.
But when you factor those in as a person who's on the other side of the coin, where does the leverage come in at?
I mean, he's wide receiver 1, but you did say Deebo.
They do have Deebo.
Yeah, they do have Deebo.
And I would argue that I'm not going to say they're the same type of receiver, but as far as playmaking ability in specific, for example, Terry's biggest play of the playoff game came against us on the screen.
I remember that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is, and again, that's kind of Deebo's wheelhouse.
Right.
They did also re-sign one of their other receivers from last year. I forget what his name is. But, so as far as the weapons that they do have, I feel like they feel comfortable with that. And at the end of the day, is Terry not going to play for the next 3 years based on him being under contract and having those franchise tags that you have to go up against?
Right.
So for a team, once they average those out, once they add those up and average that out, they looking at a particular number as to why they're saying we're not paying over 30. So
and you're saying you think he wants to get paid over 30?
He wants to get paid over 30.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to get paid the top, which he's one of the top receivers. What I would also say is I feel like teams, even though teams do have all the leverage, they do take care of their guys to show other players. Some teams, you're right.
And age, again, we're not talking about,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all things ain't created equally.
No, you're
all
right.
All teams don't do that.
Right, 100%. But I still think, like, when was the last time someone actually held a holdout for, like, that was, what's his name?
Le'Veon?
Le'Veon, exactly.
No, what you call did it last year?
Who?
Hassan Reddick.
He did.
Yeah. He missed, because remember he got traded from the Eagles to the Jets. And then he held out for a big portion of last season. And again, everybody can say what they want as far as who won that or not. But I mean, I think the Jets would have liked to have him on the field.
Yeah, 100%.
Wouldn't you agree? Based on how last year it went for them?
Yes, 100%.
Saleh being a defensive coach.
100%. And so I don't think, and usually when a team, like they're in negotiations, so it's always some type of language, numbers. I feel like they're close. We're just making it seem, because we're not in the rooms, we think it's maybe a bigger deal than it is. But I feel like teams always wait until the deadline and then boom. And it's like, because even with Trent Williams, like I remember, it's like, come on, you guys are going to pay Trent. Like, your quarterback needs him, like your team needs him, you're gonna pay Trent. And I feel like Trent Williams is the type of dude that is like, no, like almost like, and it's funny how we're talking about Trent, he came from the Commanders, but I'm sure his mindset was like, man, my life, I saw my life before me because of my situation. Like I'm really not gonna play if I don't get what I want. And he ended up getting what he
And
wanted
he did, on a different team. No?
on a different team.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
so you feel me? And I say that because that's all relative based on the overall leverage that the Commanders have, which I'm gonna get to even how a team gets to that leverage. Because now we got to talk about when you in a contract situation, it's tough because you agreed to that deal prior to.
Yeah, you always say that. Yeah,
You unhappy in a deal that you agreed to.
yeah, but you
feel me?
outperformed it. So you're saying they should have structured it as if they were gonna outperform it?
Yes. When you go into a contract situation, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look at the overall arc of everything. You know what I'm saying? For example, for myself, which I can kind of speak to this situation in particular, is like as a receiver, our main focus from me and my camp was we wanted to get to 2 free agencies before 30. That's the main goal. I came in the league, I got drafted at 20.
Right.
So I was on the younger side of the coin. But the main thing was 2 free agencies before 30. How do we get there?
What'd you do?
I did, yeah. So pretty much I got two free agencies, and in the mix of that, I got franchise tag. But again, once. But going into my contract year in Jacksonville offered a 5-year extension. I remember being I remember being in Las Vegas looking at that and laughing. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, for what a 5-year extension at that time, they would have had to make me the highest paid
100%.
receiver
The
in the
number,
league.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not breaking those kind of barriers and boundaries, you know what I'm saying, then signing whatever kind of length of deal to whereas you're going to be unhappy. You know what I'm saying? Like, even for myself being in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I signed a 3-year deal going into Chicago. I signed that deal at 24 years old, knowing worst case scenario, I get franchise tag, I'm still going to hit free agency at 28.
Right.
I didn't sign a 5-year deal. 5-year deals for me was non-negotiable.
Unless the bread was there.
But pretty much non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. We're not even starting at 5 years. There's no point. There's no point. And I say that because that's how you get into a situation
right,
where you unhappy. You know what I'm saying? If you sign a long-term deal like that, you see that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So how does somebody get into a deal where they're unhappy? You know, and then again, to some
they're
of the
not unhappy when they sign it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But it's like I said before, strategically, you have to. For me, I always knew and thought I would outplay my deals. Therefore, I'm signing short ones.
Yeah.
I'm in and I'm out.
Yeah, you bet on yourself.
Yeah, you feel me? And it's like when you do that, you know what I'm saying, you kind of have more control over the contract situation rather than you being in a contract now where you know what I'm saying, you get into 30. You feel me? It's the other side has a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have a young quarterback, a team that's ascending. Guys want to come there.
Yeah.
Coming off a playoff.
Yeah. Von Miller's there.
Von Miller's there. Yeah. Bobby Wagner's there. You have the vets, you know. So when you're trying to combat all of that, it makes it tough. Yeah. It makes it tough. And now going to Micah Parsons' situation, which is very different than Terry McLaurin, because Micah actually on the other side, he's going into the last year of his deal, which now he has maximum
rookie year,
which is typically unheard of for first round draft picks.
He was in first round.
Micah Parsons?
Was he?
Micah Parsons was.
Let's check this.
Micah, come on, fam. Micah Parsons, he a Penn State guy, bro. I know this.
Stop. Let's check this.
Micah Parsons was a top 5 pick. Anyway, while you looking that up,
go.
He's now on the last year of his deal, which for a player is maximum leverage.
Okay.
Because he's in the last year of his deal. He doesn't have any years left. You know, he's a first round draft pick, premier talent. I would say one of the top pass rushers in the league. Some would probably argue the top rusher under 25. We obviously see the market
tripping
as far as what guys are getting paid. And because I asked this on Twitter, and, you know, people was giving, you know, pretty dumb answers. But I said, do you think guys get penalized for playing to that level that Micah Parsons is being playing at? Because I say if you're playing at a mid-level and you just sign a mid-level contract, man, you got teams across the league that assign mid-level contracts,
Right.
whether that's 20 for his position, 20 million a year or something like that. That gets done easy.
Yeah.
But now when you're talking about highest paid non-quarterback,
That's different money.
you're
That's
talking about
that's
something
TJ
different.
Watt. Yeah,
You're
TJ
talking about
Watt
something
money.
different. You know what I'm saying? And the negotiations seem to get a little more tough when somebody is in that rare air when it
Right.
comes to contracts and contract negotiations. So for Micah Parsons, I mean, he has all the leverage in the world. And I say that because we've saw now him requesting a trade. And although I don't think Jerry Jones is going to get it done, this immediately when I saw that made me think of my first year in Chicago when we traded for Khalil Mack.
True.
And the impact that he had, you know, and it can be done. Immediately, right?
Immediately, like no practice with us. First time with them on Green Bay. Sack, fumble. Aaron
And I
Rodgers
probably
had a game.
and you would say that at the time I think they were still Oakland. They probably regret that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like in the short term, as far
Right.
as that trade and Khalil Mack's impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Jacobs came from that pick, and Damon Arnett.
Which is he not in the league
Yeah,
right now.
and
But
so
I think he's back. But he
he just got signed, but he was out for a little bit. But yeah, Josh Jacobs won the one.
So do you trade impactful players like that? Or you think Dallas gets it done? And obviously we kind of talked about that's kind of how Jerry Jones does business. But my thing is, now that you have a player that's a cornerstone of your team,
Yeah.
who's that disgruntled, again, a little bit different than the Commanders. Commanders have vets around.
Right.
You have your quarterback, but Micah Parsons is the lead dog and cornerstone of the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Right.
And if you remove him, I played against that team last year without Micah Parsons on the field because he had a high ankle sprain, and that's a totally different defense. Because now you're talking about your DBs are being affected.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Less pass
Yeah.
rush. Guys got to cover longer. When you have him out there on the field, you see a Deron Bland get all those interceptions. You see
Interceptions for touchdowns.
yeah, and you see Diggs,
Yeah.
be up there in the league as far as interceptions and so on and so forth. So that don't just impact what you're doing up front, but also impacts the back end of that.
100%, in which impacts the whole team and their record. I think I feel like the Cowboys every year is. I mean, the fans would say this too. It's a win now every year because everyone knows that stat. What is it? 25, 30 something years since they've won a championship or something. So every year's a win now. And so if Micah's not there, you're
That's a
kind of
little bit
set.
different, huh?
Yeah, you're going to set your organization back for time and time to come. So again, the fact that Jerry Jones has told everybody, "Hey,
Calm
calm down,"
Pipe
like basically, don't listen to what
He said, "I'm in control." Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah, I'm the captain now.
You
Yeah,
kind of look like Cuz too a little bit. I ain't gonna cap to you. You kind of look like Cuz,
But